Okay, so chapter 3, this is your PALS lab, your online lab through Pearson. We are going to have four of these this semester, and you will have quizzes associated with each one. This first one is related to cells and histology. Your second one is in relation to the integumentary system. The third one will be skeletal system. And your fourth one will be nervous system. And you see those kind of highlighted in green on the schedule for the course. So you will be able to get to these labs through your My Pearson study area. So let me show you how to get to those. What I have linked on the classroom page is the quiz. So I don't want you to attempt the quiz until you've watched the lab videos and taken maybe the lab practical yourself or the self-review here in the PALS study area. So what does that mean? When you get into your course and you click Access Pearson here, you've already registered for that. Yours might look a little different than mine, but you're going to open My Labs here, and it's going to take you to, there again, yours is going to look a little different. It's going to take you to this area, and you're going to click on Study. So you want to click here on Study Area. That'll take you to a wonderful area of your online textbook. There again, yours may look a little different. And you're going to go to Practice Anatomy here. Okay, Practice Anatomy PAL. And this is how you get to all of your online labs. So like I said, we're going to, well, not all of them, the ones that are digital, the ones through Carolina Biological, the ones where you had your lab kit ordered, those are through Carolina Biological. I know it's confusing. Please reach out to me and definitely watch these videos, and hopefully that'll help you. Today we're focusing on your PALS lab on cells and histology. We will be doing integumentary, skeletal, and nervous. If you take BIO169, that is the second half of the textbook, and that should be the rest of these. Okay, so let's dive in. So hang on, if you're here, oh, I showed, so you would click on cell here, and that takes you directly to where we are right here. So for chapter 3 and 4, when we're studying cells and histology, one of the best ways to study that is to look at, obviously, histology slides, which is what we have here. So we have onion root tips here that have been stained, and we're looking at those under the microscope. So we use onion root tips because, well, number one, they're pretty inexpensive. They are easy to prepare and pretty cheap. Well, I said inexpensive. And they are simple cells. They are simple cell structures. They are diploid, which means they have large, easily visible cell components. And they are apical meristems, which means they are going through multiple stages of growth all at once. So it's just a plethora of benefits to study mitosis and interphase in that whole area of cellular division. So why do cells divide? Obviously, cells divide for growth, repair, and replacement of old and damaged cells. But before a cell divides, it must complete a copy of its DNA. And that's what we're going to be focusing on here. Kind of a review of your other biology classes that you've taken way back from high school about the whole mitosis process. So the goal of mitosis is to distribute and duplicate DNA equally between two new cells. And mitosis, if it works correctly, produces two genetically identical daughter cells, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. So I am right here. We're going to go through each one of these slides and look at the different phases of mitosis, and we may even do the lab practical together or the self-review together. We'll see which one we would like to do before we end. So let's begin here with interphase. Interphase is the first part. It's not actually mitosis. Okay, it's the first part of this kind of cell cycle, but it's not technically a stage of mitosis. The prefix inter here means between, so you're kind of between phases here. Interphase, the characteristics that you see here when we kind of zoom in on these two highlighted cells here, you see that the characteristics of interphase is that you have a large intact nucleus. The DNA appears kind of diffuse, okay, and there's no distinct chromosomes like you can see here. You can see the chromosomes here and here. When you're in interphase here, you cannot see those spindly chromosomes fibers. The nucleolus is usually visible, okay, that you see here and here. And the cells are kind of carrying out their normal function. So it's kind of that in-between phase. Let's see if we can find another one here. Yeah, here's another interphase. Okay. Nuclei, no real clear chromosomes yet. Okay, no real lines yet. The next phase is prophase, pro meaning four. Okay. Chromosomes begin to become visible. Where's my prophase? I think it's down here at the bottom. Let's see if I can make that disappear. Yeah, right here is prophase. If you find another one, might be a little better. No. Yeah, right here. Okay. So you see, let me turn this highlight off. There. That's what I was looking for. So, well, shoot, it highlights it when I will go over it, but that's okay. So here in prophase, you have chromosomes begin to become visible. You can kind of see a few here. The chromatin begins to condense. Nuclear envelopes begin to break down, and you start to see some of the spindle structures begin forming. Okay, not as clear as you see here in anaphase or metaphase, but in prophase, when you compare it to, let me go back, when you compare it to interphase here, you see you have interphase here, you see you have prophase here. Okay, so no real chromosome distinction here. You can still see the nuclei here. You begin to see some chromosomal distinction, but no real structure. Then we have what's known as metaphase. The next one, meta meaning self or middle. Okay, and right here you have metaphase. This is where you begin to see the chromosomes clearly visible. Chromosomes begin to line up in the middle of the cell. They're not like all in line, but they're going towards the middle of the cell. Okay, spindle fibers attach to chromosomes and position them near the cell equator. And arrangement is important here because when they're getting ready now to go to anaphase, they need to be kind of lined up and in the middle for that cell division and when that cytokinesis happens. Okay, then we have anaphase, which is next, ana meaning apart. And this one's probably out of all of them the most distinctive. Okay, you see here in anaphase, you see the sister chromatins begin to separate. Chromosomes are moving towards opposite ends of the poles of the cells. And the two groups, you can distinctly now see two groups. They look alike, but they're pulling apart. So here you see the sister chromatids begin to separate, and they each become or will become each individual chromosomes. Let's look at another example there. Okay, you see metaphase here. And let me see if I got, yeah, here's a good one. Clear anaphase right there. pulling apart. Which leads us then to the next phase, which is telophase. Telophase means end, okay, which is this one right here. So, and actually, this is a good one. You can see anaphase here, telophase here. The characteristics to look for in telophase, the chromosomes have reached the opposite ends of the cell. Two groups of chromosomes are now clearly visible. New nuclear envelopes begin to develop and begin to form, and chromosomes begin to uncoil. The cell has essentially, um, um, I'm sorry, the cell has essentially delivered one complete set of chromosomes to each side of the cell. Okay, so anaphase here, telophase here, which then leads us to our next and final stage, which is cytokinesis. This is mitosis divides the nucleus, cytokinesis divides the cytoplasm. So let's see if we can find. Oh, okay, yeah, and here is whitefish, an example of mitosis using whitefish blastulas. Okay, so in other words, it's simply the embryonic tissue of a whitefish. What are we looking for? Oh, cytokinesis. Cytokinesis, let's see. Oh, right here. Okay, in telophase here, you see this, you see telophase, and you see this indentation here of the cells actually dividing. See if I can find a better example. No, no. Okay, yeah, you see the difference there. Metaphase, they're kind of in the middle. Anaphase, they're pulling apart. That is prophase. Okay, no distinct. Um, Remember in prophase, you begin to see the chromosomes here, but they're not lined up either in the middle or the ends. I was looking for, well, I guess that's that. When we look at cytokinesis, let me go back here. Best example of the slides that we have would be here. Okay. So you see kind of the dimpling here of the cytoplasm. That is cytokinesis. Cyto meaning cell, kinesio meaning movement. So the cells are actually individually now moving apart. Now that we've divided the nucleus through mitosis, the cytoplasm now begins to move apart. So let's kind of review the rest of these slides here. So you see prophase, anaphase, metaphase. Definitely take some time and go through the self-review yourself and make sure you're clearly being able to understand. Because when you take the quiz, I believe it's the same pictures, but the questions will be asked a little differently. So make sure you understand exactly what's going on. Okay, metaphase, you can see the chromosomes lining up in the middle. Here you see prophase where they're not exactly in the middle, they're beginning to be shown. Let's go over some more of the whitefish here. Here you see the prophase again, metaphase in the middle, anaphase beginning to separate. Okay. There you go. You see some uh, cells dividing here. Here we're in prophase, anaphase, and ooh, oh, this is our first one. Okay, I'm like, say, let's take a look at this one. This is our first one we started with. Okay, so let's go to self-review or lab practical. So let's practice. Okay, lab practical, let's practice. So we have this here. Identify the phase of the cell cycle shown here in the highlighted cell. Okay, so what do you think? What are you seeing here? What are the characteristics here that Okay, you see them pulling apart to the edges. So if you said anaphase here, you would be correct. Okay, number two, if the 5 phases of the cell cycle are ordered from 1 to 5, beginning with interphase is 1, which number would the corresponding phase be shown here in the highlighted cells? Well, even if you look at it here, you see some characteristics here. You see the chromosomes are somewhat visible. They're sort of in the middle. They're not at the edges. So we know we're not in interphase. We know we're not in prophase. So this would be metaphase. Number 3, identify the phase of the cell cycle shown here highlighted. Identify the phase of the cell cycle here. So take some time. Yep. Identify the phase of the cell cycle shown here. So that's how you would complete the lab practical. Spend some time, go through each one. If you get them wrong, that's okay. It'll give you your answers at the end, and you can take it and practice and practice and practice until you get it correct. Okay, anaphase here. Here's one of our white fish blastulas again. And what important structure is produced by the centrosomes during the highlighted phases of mitosis? This is going to be your centromeres, excuse me, that are important here in this step of mitosis. Okay. So take some time, maybe grab a friend and go through them together, practice together. And then when you're ready, okay, or maybe if you can, there's where is it? There is a self-review. Let me exit out here. There is a gallery here where you might be able to pull this up on your screen, hit Control Print, and print them out if you'd like, and maybe make notes, although these are very small. You're not going to be able to see each individual one, but it is possibly an option. And then when you're ready, you can go back to the Canvas page and take the quiz. Okay, let's just pop in here on the quiz and I'll show you a couple of examples of how the quiz is structured. So when you're ready to sit down and take the quiz, this is what it'll be like. Okay, so you get to, it's mostly multiple choice. Actually, this is the practice quiz. Okay, the actual quiz is a little different, but here with the practice quiz, you can take it and you can check your answers. Okay, and then when you're ready, the actual quiz you get to take once, and it is for a grade. But after you practice and do the practice quiz, watch this video, go through the lab practical, you'll be more than ready. All right. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And as always, I prefer you to email me within Canvas. So if you have any questions or concerns, please email me within Canvas and give me about 12 to 24 hours to get back to you, because just so I have so many students, I'm usually pretty quick about it, but do be patient and do your best. Okay. You guys are going to do great.